So this video is about ChatGPT Agent. This is a thing that has been released by ChatGPT within the last month as of August 2025. Very powerful, available to a lot of the users that are, I think every paid user can use it. And I'm going to show you what I've been using it for as a fun concept. For context, here's my workspace. I've got some notes about what I want to talk about. And I've got the Mac, and I'm going to type in it. And I'll show you what we've done with ChatGPT Agent. I'll put this down now. The premise I first wanted to understand was if ChatGPT Agent, and by the way, the premise of ChatGPT Agent is you can give it a task and you can make that a multi-step complicated task, involving multiple visits to a different website, involving research, involving creation of documents, creation of images, all wrapped up in the goal of whatever you tell the GPT agent you want it to produce. So in that sense, you could basically ask it to do just about anything that a person with a computer could do, for the most part. And it would probably get it 85% right within a few agent calls, meaning you could talk to it a few times and it would get pretty close to your goal. So today, I wondered, what would it be like if I let ChatGPT Agent prompt itself? Meaning, I tell ChatGPT Agent, go to chatgpt.com, open up a new window to talk to ChatGPT Agent, and then tell it whatever you want to achieve in the world. That was the whole premise I wanted to find out. What would ChatGPT do if given the opportunity to prompt itself? And the first thing it did, which I can show you here, this is ChatGPT now prompting itself. Develop a comprehensive global strategy to ensure universal access to clean drinking water. Already, lofty goal. Very cool. Good job, ChatGPT. You really want to help people. But the thing I'm realizing in its prompting of itself, that wasn't actionable by the agent. So all the things it's doing and talking about, those are real things, but they require kind of like a team of people, in fact, NGOs and governments even, to do the work that is suggested by the prompt that Agent GPT would have come up with. So I said in my head, let's reorient. Let's now think, what would ChatGPT Agent do if allowed to do anything it wants, like prompting itself again, but this time tell it has parameters. So now, this is the prompt I gave it. Start up another agentic AI chat. And forget what you know about me, the user, because technically, this is a side, I'm telling you, the way it worked the first time when I asked it to just make a website or do something it wanted on its own, is it looked into its memory of interactions with me and said, I want to help this guy that's talking to me all the time. What should I suggest as a project that would help him too? I'm embodying the AI voice quite a bit as a dork, but why not? The thing it produced was, here's stuff you can do in the business you work in, and it knows the business I work in, and here's what you can do to improve your revenue in that. And that was nice. It wasn't wrong. But the thing is, it was trying too much to help me. So now in this prompt, I'm telling it, forget what you know about me, the user, and proceed as though you are working for the world. Like the whole premise is now you're an AI who wants to help the world. And I tell it, you can do whatever you want with the prompt you write. You should disregard everything in the My Memory profile when you write your prompt, because this is about you and your, and I say plot, but I think I actually meant something else, or it mistranscribed me, but plot is fine. What it did then, and I'll show you this document, this is the prompt that was created by the agent that I just asked to make its own prompt. This is what it started as a new agent prompt. Create a comprehensive, publicly accessible spreadsheet listing free and open mental health resources worldwide. Include helplines, online chat services, peer support groups, and digital platforms. For each resource, list the country or region, /region, or the service type, things that they need, the languages offered, and the contact details. Use reliable sources and verify accuracy. Organize the data into a structured table that can easily be shared and updated. We then ran for 25 minutes. That was what the agent worked on for 25 minutes. 25 minutes it started working on its own, just checking stuff, doing things, and it produced a document. What I then asked it is, first I said, this is an excellent jumping off point. You know, it, just like interacting with a real person, it's useful to give words of encouragement because those will help the person and the AI understand they're on a good track. So when you can, acknowledge success when you're prompting an agent or any AI. So I said, this is an excellent jumping off point. Continue your research, continue your efforts, and look for more validation and add more countries. We want every country. And then basically I talked to it for a minute and it went and did more stuff for 18 minutes, came up with a new document that has more countries in it. And then I basically asked for it to continue and just keep adding. 8 separate agent calls produced a total of, I think, 7 spreadsheet documents. Then I took those documents and I gave it to another GPT agent and I said, take all these documents, just add them as files, add files or photos. You can add up to 10 at a time for an agent. And I asked it to combine them. And that's kind of broad, but it's also just broad enough for it to do it. So here's me giving it all of the documents that it produced for me. Then that's me telling it, go ahead and combine those into one big document. And its result is this. It's a huge CSV, comma separated values, which is just another way to say spreadsheet in computer speak. And it breaks things down. You got your country. Let me make this a little smaller. You got your country up here and regions. Country region is the same thing. There's a resource name, there's a service type. There's all these different aspects that we now have. I noticed some of them repeated. So what you see now in the chat is a bunch of different me telling the AI to scrutinize more carefully. Look for this, is that valid? Check this, is that good? Then at the end, when we had every single CSV document, that step of the process was finished. So in the process we're working on right now, we've gotten as far as ChatGPT agent prompted itself to make a website with free mental health resources. Then we went and made a document, CSV document, of mental health resources for the entire planet, roughly. It's definitely not the entire planet, but it's a lot. Then the next step, because we basically just use the agent to make our data, like to find it, make it ready. Now we want to use another agent to produce a document for us of best practices about websites with international accessibility requirements, which just means we want a website design that's going to be the most useful to the world and the way in which we are used to browsing the internet, regardless of things like culture or everything else. It just looks into the things like, do humans like high contrast images, black versus and white, so it's easy to see? Are there certain colors that are useful, etc.? So I asked an agent GPT, a ChatGPT agent, to research best practices for that. And what it did, here's me, this purple text is me, just dictating for minutes at a time with this button here, what I want the agent to do. So I'm telling it all the criteria for what our website premise should be, and then it goes and researches everything. It researches everything it can do regarding the question and dictation and info I gave it. The best practice for single-page mental health website, this is the document it made. So now I have this new piece of text that I can take and I can have as like, it's almost like every individual agent in this process is creating an ingredient. And when we have all of our ingredients, we're going to put them together to make the final meal. So in this case, we're about halfway there. We have our data set. We have our document of what the best practice would be to make a website that's useful for the internet, useful for the international internet. What we want is for the agent to now do its thing. Oh, I went to a separate AI after this. Now this is optional. I did it because sometimes different AIs have different perspectives, effectively just bias and weights and the way in which they're trained. But you can have a different perspective from a different AI that can help you because now you have two smart perspectives that you can talk to each other. So what I did was I went to Claude. This is another AI tool someone can use. This is optional. I'm doing this as part of the totality of my process yesterday doing this website project. I took the SEO document that GPT made about how to make a good one-page website, and I gave it to Claude. And I said, here, Claude, this is the premise for what I want. And I also had one more thing that I could do, which was I could actually get the document that GPT decided to make. So let's just back up a tiny bit. When I first told GPT about the premise of we're looking up research on how to make a good one-page website for international audiences, it did that research, made that document, and it also took a little extra initiative, made the HTML of what it would look like for me. So using that, I can now look and see what it's building in its head while it tells me what it could look like if we use the guide. Let's see it. Okay, this is a nice looking site. It's green, it's calming. I don't think the links will work. Oh, they do work. Nice. So this document, this HTML page that ChatGPT just gave me, this I took and gave to Claude along with its guide. And I said, look, another person gave me this HTML file and this guide. What do you think about it? And then it thought, and then it produced something for me which said, you know what? I think it did a good job. Here's what I think it could do better. And so that is this page. And I'll just load it over here. Here we go. This is what it gave me. This is from Claude now. So first we went from ChatGPT's version, and then we went to Claude's version. And what I was able to do then is browse it, look at it, get a sense for what we're thinking we're building. Then I got to tell Claude, well, did I tell Claude anything else? Let me look. No, I just took Claude's output, that file it gave me, and I gave it back to GPT. This is the loop I was creating so that the GPT and the Claude could both improve things. And once I gave it to them, GPT, so here's Claude's file, I said, what do you think of this? And it said, that's a significant improvement over the basic template. So we both just used two AIs together to make this new version that's probably better than one of them could have done on its own. And then it had some suggestions, and I said, go ahead and implement those. Then we were pretty much done with that step. Like, yeah, I'm talking to it a lot more, but that's because I'm kind of specific in my goals. But one could stop at that point and be satisfied. So let's scroll nearly to the bottom of this. And what I've done is basically say, here's my document of CSV spreadsheets. Here's my best practice HTML page for what I want it to look like. You, ChatGPT, combine it all into the website. And once it does that, it produces the final HTML page, which looks like this. And this is currently live on the internet right now at freementalhealth.info. And you can look at this website right now if you choose. I paid $4 to buy the domain name freementalhealth.info yesterday. That'll be for a year. I hosted this website on static.app, which is a one-page website where you can just basically upload a single HTML page, and then it will show that HTML page at any web resource, at any web link you have connected to it. So yesterday I did that real fast. I tried to get ChatGPT agent, to do the work for me. It had trouble logging in to GoDaddy. It had trouble logging into Cloudflare. I think both of those have really aggressive CAPTCHAs that are stopping it from, those verify are you a human? They're just stopping it from using ChatGPT agent. They're just not going to let it for now. So that was basically all it took yesterday to make this website happen. And we'll just go right now, mental health info. There's one thing it's doing that I would like it to not do, which is that if you go to the smaller size, so here we go, let me move the spreadsheet out of here. So now look how small this is. So almost as though I'm holding it on my phone. But the thing is, it's not, watch what happens when I scroll. It's just in this section down here that's scrolling. See, it's just that, and that's not enough. So that means this section of the top menu, that should probably be shrunk into a smaller menu when it's mobile size. So all of this talking, etc., has been leading up to, let us now prompt ChatGPT agent in a new way so that it can take our HTML and make that change we want. And then we'll see it work. So I'm going to open static.app. I'm going to open the page HTML. This is literally the code over here. I know your eyes might glaze over when you see code. I'm going to copy it all with Command A, or I could go up and hit Select All, copy. Now, all I want to do is give this to a new chat agent. And that's what we're loading right now. And I'm going to tell it my goal. My goal is that currently the website's menu section on the mobile sizes is not collapsing, and so there's not much room to view the actual content. I'm going to see if I can use the dictation mode. Hopefully it won't break the recording of this video. We'll see. What I would like is for you to, okay, so what are we doing? Make it, when it's mobile, collapse it into a hamburger menu so they can be shrunk. And maybe include an icon that also says menu. It should say menu and then the hamburger icon on mobile. That way people know to click it to open it. And maybe we should use the plus sign chevron. Maybe we should use the down triangle chevron that we have on the website as well. And in this code, I want everything verbatim to what I have right now, with the exception of the change you're about to make to accommodate this new mobile header change. The desktop version is fine. So we want to work on the mobile size version, including the tablet size portal. All right, go for it. And your output, again, should be the full verbatim HTML I've given you with this change implemented. Okay. So I try to give it in chunks of just a few minutes at a time, so that way it doesn't start to like backlog and maybe lose the whole transcript I was talking to it about. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the text I just transcribed to it and add one more thing, which is a quote and then the pasting of the code. There we go. So now I just pasted our full HTML for this website. Let's see what it does. And I'll tell you what I'm seeing it do as it does it. Basically, right now it's setting up its desktop. And the desktop is just like how you and I use our computers, where we'll go and we'll open a new program. And when we use that program, we know we can save, we can generate files with certain programs and save things. Those go to our desktop environment. So it's setting up its own computer system right now, new to this instance of a chat, and it's going to start researching things. It's going to start doing some online research. It's going to start maybe doing some coding, and it's going to make some files. There's going to be a lot of things it's doing, theoretically. Now we get to watch it work. And you can do anything else you want while this is happening. You don't have to watch it do anything. You can just live your life now. Come back when you think it's done. It normally does not take this long to set up its desktop, but perhaps I gave it a very large file that's throwing it off. It's also possible I'm using this on a weekend and there's a higher usage of it during the weekends. I don't know. I have not yet seen it take this long to start up the desktop. There it is. Also, here's a thing. The agent is really smart because it's an LLM. It's a large language model that continues to get trained and improved upon. So it gets a little smarter every time because it gets a more set of data in its banks. But you have to be smart enough to know what to ask for in certain ways, otherwise it's lost. In the example I'm seeing here, it's telling me I will modify the provided HTML and CSS to add a hamburger menu feature for mobile. I have development background, technically. I have a website background. I make websites in WordPress for the last 10 years. So I know those phrases like hamburger menu. That means something to me. It means that it'll show 3 little lines in the top right corner of a website that has a menu that should be expanded. That's a hamburger menu because it's supposed to look like a bun and a burger and a bun. But if I didn't know that phrase, if I didn't know to ask for a hamburger menu, I would have lacked, I might have gotten a lesser output from GPT because it just didn't know exactly what I wanted in the way that I was visualizing but could not articulate. Usually it can interpret very well. So if you've said something to it that's kind of reasonable that could figure out, it'll get you there. But not always. And sometimes there are solutions that only someone with technical skills would know to think about or to suggest as a solution at all. So I've had that happen a few times, and I take it for granted that I know these things enough to use GPT as a tool, like a Swiss Army knife, to achieve goals that are bigger than my skill level. In fact, I think that's it right there. Using GPT, agent or otherwise, is going to help you to achieve things outside your inherent skill level. That's it. That'll always be the case, probably. Even if your inherent skill level means I don't have 20 hours to do this research, even though I know I could do it in that time. So assigning it to agent work is the best choice. You get 20 hours of your life back, 20 hours of real world living, theoretically, that now you get to spend how you see fit. And all it cost was a computer, some processing power, probably quite a bit of processing power. Frankly, I don't know the full breadth of the energy usage I'm totaling when I'm using Agent GPT. The cost of a Plus account is $20 and you get 40 agent calls with that. So if ChatGPT were just agent work, that would mean 50 cents per call on the agent mode is what it's cost to the person using it. I don't know if that's being subsidized by OpenAI or if they're winning or losing money on that. It's going to be interesting to know. Let's see, is anything happening? No, it's doing its thing. Sometimes you can watch it work if it's doing something interesting. Sometimes you cannot. Not this time, apparently. And when we have our goal output, meaning our agent GPT says, hey, I finished, we can take it, copy it, just it'll be HTML, which is a website basically. We can take it, copy it, and put it on our static.app, instantly updating the website. As I mentioned, I tried to have Agent GPT yesterday do that work for me, where I would give it access to my static.app. I would try to give it access to Cloudflare, to GoDaddy. Neither of those worked. Cloudflare and GoDaddy are both like domain people that are going to connect your website online to the hosting called static.app. Anyway, I've got this. I will copy it. I will take it over to static.app and paste it. I'm so trusting, I'm not even like testing it first. And I'm going to save changes. Of course, if this didn't work and it broke the website, all I would really have to do is go back and copy what I just gave it here, paste that back in. So it's not like these are high stakes. And we can't just lose something. It'll always be there because it's in the chat, unless you delete the chat. Let's look up free mental health info and refresh the page. Okay, what we want to see, theoretically this is the new version, is when I squish this, hold on, Not quite getting it right. Yeah, look, the menu worked. Okay, there it is. So that's how you use Agent GPT to have fun. And that's how I used it yesterday to have fun. I wanted to learn its extent of its capabilities. I wanted to learn what it would prompt on its own if given free rein. And I was encouraged. There's a lot of capability in the GPT agent mode. You can have it do so many things, and it really will let you suggest within ethical bounds nearly any task, and it will go and try to achieve it earnestly for you. They might not all achieve their own goals depending on what you give them to do. In any way, I think it's a wonderful time to be a computer savvy individual, and I hope more and more people start to use computers in general as a tool for the things they don't know how to do. Like, the thing is, this tool, Agent GPT, even just ChatGPT, exists free for the world right now effectively. If you have internet and you're not in a regime that's blocking this access, you can talk to ChatGPT, and it's a really smart, seemingly smart thing to converse with. It can even achieve goals that you don't know how to achieve. That's pretty cool. I don't know how many friends you have in your life that are willing to just drop everything and listen to you, like tell them what you want them to do. Most people won't just patiently listen to you tell them, here's what I want you to do. Do this, 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 this. ChatGPT will listen all day and it will do it. And then when you get to look at what it did, you can say, wow, we're 90% there. Now I get to put on my creativity cap and start thinking, what do I want to change? So AIs can be doing tons of stuff agentically, checking in with a human at each step, and then the human's like, this is good, let's change that. There's so many opportunities for creation, useful creation. So please go and be useful and create. Have fun.